Hello, everyone. It's time for FPL on Football Fundits once again. We're really sorry we couldn't be there last week. We had some technical difficulties. No matter how much we tried, just wouldn't get solved. But hey, we're here now, and we're here a little earlier than usual to make up for it. Uh, in the end, looking back at the game week, I thought I was down in the dumps, but Dallas, my man, my savior, came and got me that tiny green arrow. Otherwise, I was on my way down throughout the rest of the week. Um, Annie's not done too bad either. I think seeing from where we started, I remember that first day, Saturday, Annie was just distraught at how the game week was going. But Annie, at the end of it, not too bad.
Yeah, man, not bad at all. Ended up on 80 points. Dallas and Bamford helped a lot over there. Between them, a nice 18 points was took me from 62 to 8, like I said, to 80, and gave me a nice green
Yeah.
arrow. I'm back in the. I'm around 2.1k right now. But Con, I we really need to get into this episode because last night's FA Cup
Yeah.
fixtures really messed things up, and I mean really messed things up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So in today's episode, we're going to cover the upcoming double game week, look at some of the injuries that have come as a result of the FA Cup, some of the squad picks, which will then affect rotation. But hey, let's get into it. We'll also be looking honestly at some of the longer fixtures, right? What's happening in double game week potentially 26. There's some blanks coming up later on in 29 maybe. So when are you going to wild card? Just some quick overviews on all of that, so we can start tinkering with our teams accordingly. Right, Annie, let's get into it.
Right, Kern, you see these nice little yellow marks next to players. We don't have any confirmation, okay? I'm going to start off with that about Calvert Lewin or James Justin from last night's games itself, Ruben Diaz. I can tell you about Antonio. Antonio basically was fatigue related, and Moyes said he had to be managed. While we thought it was just an easy rotation and people weren't fretting too much, he still should be okay. But Moyes was a cryptic. He was about like, yeah, see, if he wasn't a worry, I would have kind of had him on the squad tonight or on the bench at least, and unnecessarily caused panic there. Uh, unless there's any sensation or recurrence of his injury, could just still be fatigue related. So you could see him on the weekend. I am not too arsed though about this one move because I personally, even though they're playing Sheffield, was considering already trying to make him work him downwards to a budgeted option to get Harry Kane back in that as per my plan. For the managers though who are relying on him, keep an eye out on that one. DCL injury in the 55th minute. While playing, was doing very well before that. I think he had a goal and two assists, a goal and assist at least against Spurs. Hot form, all the right things you want to see
Yeah,
before you play Fulham at home, right? And then poof.
yeah,
So we'll be
yeah.
covering.
Calvin Lewin was one I was trying to get into my team because Wilson is injured, right? So I was fretting about how do I get that extra money for DCL. Really need him for this double game week, but I think this sort of works in my favor. I know it's a headache for a lot of managers like you, but if I mean now it sort of puts me at ease. Okay, if I go without DCL, it's not the biggest loss.
Yeah, so all the managers who are watching right now, I think if you do have Antonio and DCL, like I do, right? I used two free transfers last week. I just have the one. Um, I know the temptation is there to wildcard like 24, but I would definitely say if you can with a -4 with some squad with bench, just try to see if you can manage to hold on and keep that wild card for 25, even 26 if you can, right? Even 25 has just the Leeds double, correct, Kern? Try maybe
Yep.
keeping that for game week 26 onwards and play it through. Uh, okay, let's say DCL doesn't come back, right? What do you do then? If you don't have Antonio and if you have just DCL and the likes of Bamford and maybe Wilson, who's also injured, by the way, so you had maybe two strikers now out anyway. You definitely need to start looking at if you have money in the bank from your De Bruyne switches, from your Kane switches. Um, Kane comes back into contention, I think 25 onwards after 25 when they've
Yeah.
done with City, right? You might have to take the hit over there and kind of get him in early though, because you don't want to take a then chance for a single game week. Watkins has the better run of fixtures from other strikers, right? Uh, I'm going to
Yeah.
just head over to the transfer page and have a look at that.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get in Watkins for Wilson this week. I was obviously confused about the likes of Antonio and DCL, but clearly that's not going to pan out. So I'm going to get in Watkins for Wilson. That's going to be my transfer. And then most likely play my wild card next week and bring in Kane. Kane is now someone finally after a long, long time. I'm like, you know what? I can't do without him. I have to get him in finally.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, Kane, I think, is on everyone's agenda, and getting him in your wild card 25 or 26, whenever you do it, is the right thing to do. Like I said, look at Ollie Watkins, man. He's on Brighton away, Leicester home, Leeds away, Wolves home, Newcastle away, Sheffield. Good. It's still a good run of fixtures. It's still promising. Yes,
Yeah.
Brighton haven't conceded that many goals, have they, Con? It is not that easy.
No.
But if you had to then worry about, okay, I don't want to get in Harry Kane, what do I do? Options,
Yeah.
the way our strikers are falling, are short indeed. Outside chance, you could look at Manchester United fixtures, and you could look at the likes of Edinson Cavani. West Brom, Newcastle are the two fixtures coming, so it's a good buffer till you wildcard to get in Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it is slim pickings. And if you had to choose the thing between risking Calvert-Lewin starting and Antonio starting, um, I would leave Antonio in my side, because it was still a fatigue-related injury. Hopefully not serious, and the fixture is appealing. It is against Sheffield still, right? So the thing is, look, this is shot on
Yeah.
Thursday morning. We don't have all the information. We're preparing you for both scenarios. That's what we're going to do in this episode, right? DCL starts, great. Outside differential captaincy option 2. Seen enough promise in him to even breach the City back line. Definitely can do damage to Fulham. Doesn't start, we've given you the options that are available to you. Good, now let's move to the midfield bit, okay?
Hmm.
Everyone was simple. Triple up City has to happen because they have double in 24
Yeah.
coming game week, double in 26, obviously, along with the likes of Spurs and so many other sides, right? Now Rodri's gotten himself injured. Doubtful for the weekend itself. So playing the both as the argument right now. What do you do with Gundogan? Gundogan, that means will play deep because Fernandinho is not fully fit.
Hmm.
Interesting
Yeah.
options. Again, if you get anything on Friday night, I would still say Gundogan is a good captaincy pick because he's at least still on penalties. Aguero is, he said, back in training of sort, but himself, so he's still not expected to start this weekend. So the worry about Aguero on penalties immediately is not there. Outside chances, if you don't have the likes of Gundogan still, and you had a triple up in City, you had, for some reason, not doing it like I was, I think Raheem Sterling seems like the better option coming in for this game week, even though with Salah's fixture, right? And I'm going to pull that up right now. I know it's Leicester. They've been doing badly. But for some reason, Brendan Rodgers seems to just always lose it against Liverpool and like do poorly. You could still, for this game week, and if everything else in your side is okay, Kern, Salah to this thing makes sense to me. Sterling, what about you?
Yeah, there's a City triple up is obviously happening. The most common one, and unfortunately where I'm placed right now, is two defenders and one midfielder. But hey, why not one defender and two mids? So you go Gundogan and Sterling both. And now since Diaz is not that big an option, you go either Stones or Cancelo, in my opinion, in defense. And I mean, if you want to go slightly differential, Laporte is there as well. If Diaz doesn't play, he should play, right? But I'm just scared because it's 2 game weeks. You never know if that rotation comes in on one of those two. So just to be safe, I would go Stones and Cancelo in defense and Gundogan and Sterling in midfield. Like 3 of those 4 essentially would be my City picks.
Yeah, I mean, those have been the general like the picks going forward from Man City there, right? Now, Ruben Diaz, moving on to that bit as well. Pep said, stomach bug. Again, just not giving confident answers, right? After the game, not really, really something you want to see like right before.
The mind games with Mourinho have begun.
The mind games have begun. And I'll tell you, Con, look, it wouldn't have been a problem because Justin is just that good, right? Liverpool
Yeah.
aside, they had Aston Villa, Arsenal, Brighton, Sheffield. Good fixture still, Burnley. I could have got him in, saved the money. Eventually, then taken a -4 the week after if I was wildcarding still in 26. And still made my moves from Madison and striker out to Kane in. Easy peasy, but nope.
Yeah.
He's not available too as of now. So again, repeating, this is Thursday morning. We're figuring it out as it goes. There will be presses coming up. Worst case scenario, if you don't have Diaz already, right? You want a City defender, Cancelo hands down, same price point as Diaz, go for it. Rest of the team looks fit. You're worried about Diaz starting, sideways move to Cancelo, still go for it. But
Yeah.
if you're if you are where we are or where I am, and you have 3 marks and you're not sure, I would still prioritize getting an attacking return, then or taking a minus on an
Yeah.
attacking switch, and risking a bench player coming or defender for Diaz, then move around. Because if Diaz is not there, Laporte Stones should be okay. But hey, look, we don't know. It's Spurs. They look, and yes, they lost 5-4 to Everton, but that tells me that they concede, but they can also score. So I'd keep an eye out on that one, and
Yeah.
then say that -4 to get in Gundogan or Sterling over that defensive line, which is sought out for.
Yeah. I
Kurt,
also
before,
think you get
yeah,
the option of then switching to Tarkowski or me because you want to get in a Burnley defender for the double game week. At least I would think so. The fixtures wise, they have the good fixture. They're not scoring, so no one in the midfield or striker. None of them really pop out for me. I would go me or Tarkowski. Coin flip, really, I'd go me just because he's cheaper. If you are wildcarding though, and you don't want to save that money in the bank, then Tarkowski, right? So that would be
right.
my pick if you're looking for that other defender.
Right. Even if Justin's out, you can get in the same for him. If you already have Cancelo Stones,
Yeah,
and then means you have Justin in your side, easy, same switch to Justin, like Kern said. No double thoughts about it. A lot of managers, in fact, got on Ben me last week, which was very unlucky that
yeah,
they conceded. Like it really should have been a clean sheet for both sides. Very, very against the run up. I think for both sides against the run up play, unlucky there.
mm,
Yes, but Kern, the only worry there is Nick Pope himself missed out against Bournemouth, and you would assume was he being saved, but nope. Sean Dyche said that there is a little concern and worry there as well. Ah man, people happily looking to just double up Pope against. I'll pull up Pope's fixtures, right? Double up Pope against Crystal Palace, Fulham, West Brom. Man, those fixtures you would
yeah,
like your eyes light up when you see Nick Pope playing. You're like, at best, 2 bonus points coming incoming, right? So
yeah,
if that was your move, and come Friday night, there's no clarity, I would still hold on to the likes of Martinez if you have him in your side. If you, like me, have McCarthy, it's Wolves home. Wolves are not scoring. Uh, I would risk keeping McCarthy, but honestly, you know what? Still a McCarthy to, if you're money in the bank, to Pope wouldn't be the biggest punt. Like I said, they play 2 game weeks. He could maybe be out for one and still play the other. Both are good clean sheet fixtures for Burnley. Right,
Burnley.
Con?
Yeah, I've
And
actually gone Areola for defense, and he was Fulham's fixtures aren't that bad either in the double. Money saving pick, so I basically just sort of doubled up on Martinez and Areola, and I'll probably play Areola in defense for this double game week. So that's the cheap option if you're scared about Pope. I personally, if he does come out and say he's definitely missing this weekend, I would not go for Pope just for one games in a double game week. So I'd get that defensive cover with the likes of me or Tarkowski, and then go Areola in goal. But having said that, with the comments so far, I'm not very scared. I think Pope should start, but we'll wait for more. As you said, it's just Thursday morning here still. We'll wait for more updates before we get to it.
right, and if anyone's wondering, cheap entry into Fulham defense, you have the likes of Tete, Aina, and they're at Everton, Burnley. Other fixtures like Kern mentioned, Sheffield, Crystal Palace, 4.3. Another good option if Diaz doesn't become slightly long term, and you have cover like me, also you have Cresswell and still have Stones, right? And Dallas for 25 of cover. Downgrading, getting that money in, working towards getting KDB and the Kane fund, like we say, all good options. All right, I think that's pretty much what this team looks like. I'm going to make those visual changes for you in case you want to have a look, right? How you can go about this. Obviously, if DCL is a long-term injury, this is how I was going to go about it, right? I was going to get in Kane for DCL eventually. Madison had to be downgraded. I was going to instead have a look at a midfielder from Fulham to make that happen because not much wiggle room there. The Anguissa. And that would leave me just like minus 0.2 short, right? In that case, I was going to basically look at downgrading Cresswell to Justin. Not an option anymore. That's gone. I would have downgraded it to Sufal, but as you can see, repeating it again, Tottenham, City, Leeds, United, Arsenal. till 29 after Sheffield, not clean sheet options. Yes, Cresswell is the high scoring defender in terms of assists, but things had taken a turn. Good chance to maybe dump on that. So essentially, downgrade Cresswell off for a defender Kern. That's how I see myself working
Yeah,
to get
you have
Kane
the
back
likes of
in.
yeah. You have me there to sort of save money on, right? So you can go for Bentley and then save money there.
And if all the best has happened and I don't need to use this drastic -4, -8 right now, I don't think I'll have
Yeah.
to. Wild carding, definitely Johnston will be out. I'll move to one playing keeper, get in steer at 3.9. And that's where the remaining fund will come from. So I'm not too worried yet about getting in Kane and Son double up. The worry would be if once KDB is also fit, do I keep Salah? Do I keep KDB? All right, good. Let's look at the good part of this weekend coming up. And let's just focus solely on the fixtures. Everton are doing
Hmm.
well. Okay, let's look at Everton first. Everton are doing really, really well. They're looking solid again. They got those attacking returns against United. Yes, defensively, the worry is even though it's Fulham City, do you still risk going for a Digne when you know if you have, let's say you have Cancelo Diaz? Do you tell someone, hey, you know what, downgrade to Stones or a sideways to Digne attacking returns are possible? What would you be looking at Everton? And also on the offside midfield option, if you're moving around the likes of Madison, what about James Rodriguez?
Yeah, with Luca Dean, Annie, my problem is that we have the likes of we have two city defenders there. We have the likes of Ben or Tarkowski there. Then you have the other options like the Dallases, right? Who do have double game weeks next week. So I'm not that kicked on taking someone out. If I have Luca Dean, I'm obviously going to stick. Taking someone out for him could work out, but I personally would not make that move. But yeah, potential for good attacking returns. The only thing is with DCL also not potentially not playing. There's generally where Dean's attacking returns are coming from, right? Like Luca Dean putting it into DCL, but with that not necessarily coming in, not very sure.
Josh King punt 5.5 could very well be worth it. I'll talk about him more later in my differential section. This is a DCL replacement worst case, right? But yeah, Kern, you do have a valid point about injuries. James Rodriguez, on the other hand, would have been a good promising option as well. Calf strain, misses out against Spurs. He's had a problem with that calf for a while, but it seemed precautionary. He's being rotated out, right?
Yeah.
If things clear up, he wouldn't be a bad option midweek if you're looking to like move out Madison in the coming future
Yeah.
anyway. Now, moving on to then Burnley, and we'll wrap up that argument, right? Defensively, I think you'd rather still look at Anguissa Lookman over coming into McNeil, Goodmanson, and if anyone's thinking of punting over there, could work out great for you. Look, when I got in Pereira in my bench boost, he was 0.3 or 4% on.
Yeah.
Worked out well. Just not seeing Burnley get those goals, right? Which is why I got an interesting option. Looking at Burnley strike force, they're not getting in those goals. They're not. But they're playing weak-ish opposition, right? Chris Wood would have been a go-to option. But even Ashley Barnes at 6 is not a bad punt. Would you tell managers, okay, Antonio was red marked Friday night, DCL is not playing. You already have Ollie Watkins. You need that striker to play. You have injuries elsewhere. Do you look at Wood or Barnes over there?
Nah, I mean, unless you're wild carding the next game week, then yes, then you load up on as many double players that you can, right? I'm just thinking, unless you're taking like minuses, you have better double up options elsewhere. I would probably bring in Bamford so that next week I have that double with him, right? If I already have Watkins. So my front two going into this is Bamford and Watkins essentially. And those are the two best options looking for me if DCL is injured still. Antonio is not available still. Wilson, obviously, we know is out, right? So with all of those budget to mid-price options not available, I'd go Bamford. But yeah, I mean, if you are wildcarding next week, then sure, bring in a Burnley forward if you have the change. But again, as I said, you'd rather make those changes in midfield and defense and sort of shore up there with your City assets, maybe Burnley assets in defense, maybe James Rodriguez from Everton. Those are some that I would still look at before bringing in a Burnley striker.
All right, I don't think there's much to debate there. It's pretty much straight up, right? It's really one of those you really have to wing it to make up that space. If you're looking at the injuries everyone could possibly have,
Yeah.
in the coming fixture. But yeah, like Kern said, Leeds to go to, it seems like a good option. I would assume people already have Bamford because the ownership is at 50.3%. But you could then
Yeah.
alternatively, just putting a little shout out there. Yes, they are playing Arsenal. Bamford was going to be on my bench earlier because I had Antonio DCL as my options, but I wouldn't be too shy to play him against Arsenal either. And on the flip side, looking at the defensive cover we were talking about earlier, Dallas coming in again for the likes of your City players if it's long term, Justin if it's long term, really not a bad option getting that in this week as well. If you already made the Ben Me Tarkowski move last game week. Um,
Yeah.
Kern, before we move on to our differentials, we'll talk a bit about the double game week 26 and 29. We've got the information in front of us. 29 already has a lot of blanks, right? I'm going to just quickly take us through those blanks. So as of now, we know that United's fixture is also postponed. We're mostly looking at Brighton, Newcastle, I think going ahead, West Ham, Arsenal going ahead, and Fulham and Leeds going ahead. Um, Now that Everton, I think, have beaten Spurs, Everton, I think, are playing West Brom, if I'm not mistaken. So West Brom, Everton is also off. So you would most likely now, I think, have just Tottenham, Southampton going ahead. But even in that case, Southampton and Wolves play each other. They one of them, if
Yeah.
they beat Wolves, Southampton fixture goes off as well. So we could
Yeah.
have a maximum of
Yeah.
5 of those fixtures. Now there are no guarantees that Tottenham, Southampton, if Southampton go through, will be coming to 26. But 26 seems like the
Yeah.
only way they can get in majority of these fixtures, right? Which is why everyone's emphasizing that 26 is a heavy hitter. You wildcard before 26 or in 26 itself. What is your thought
Yeah.
about this, and what chip then would you be using? Would you definitely be wildcarding your second wildcard?
No, I'm not going to definitely be doing it. I'll see what the fixtures are like for 29. I still have my free hit, right? So I might free hit in 26 and make the most of that, because so many times with your wild card, if you keep it with just that double game week in mind, you're not really set up for the weeks after. So if people are wildcarding, I think they should keep in mind the weeks after the wildcard week is the double game week as well, and play their wildcard accordingly. But I'm not fixing it any. I might just do a free hit for 26. I'm still going to decide, see things as and when they come in. Uh, what I could then do is you know for 29 just sort of have a crap team, just load up on the doubles for that week, leading up the game before, and then wildcard in 30, and then from 30 to 38 I'm set with my run in wildcard team. I could go down that route as well. If people do have their bench boost available, then I'd say definitely wildcard 25, bench boost 26, and set up for a big haul in 26. I don't have it, so free hit is going to be my way most likely. Uh, Actually, I won't say most likely. I'm 50-50 still on a wildcard or free hit.
Yeah, so I look at only at a wild card for me in 25 is because looking at the injuries that I have, I look at the balance of my squad, which could possibly be upset. I see I'm never shy to take those -4s or -8s, even if it's needed. I have a slight lead, hopefully, which will remain after this game week to make those risky moves, right? Like you said, we both use our bench boost already in 19. So bench boosting in 26 is an option that has gone away. So the only way to capitalize on that is either you wildcard before, set it up, or on the offset, use your free hit. Alternatively, if I do end up wildcarding or maybe just making a -8 and triple captaining in 26, I will use my free hit in 29. Because the way it's going, 29 will have just again, I think, just about 5 fixtures, if I'm not mistaken. So United Palace definitely is off. Man City Wolves is off. Sheffield Aston Villa out. Burnley Leicester out. If I look at just my current side right now, if I'm not wild carded, that's pretty much 8 of my players already. Not keeping in
Yeah,
mind Tottenham, Southampton. That would be basically Kane, Son, and Makat. That's all 11 out for me almost. So that's where my
yeah,
worry is. But yeah, as a principal, if you're worried about what to do, obviously I know the injuries this game week are concerning, but still try to hold on to the wild card till 25. First option. Second option, again, if you use a bench boost already, consider then wildcarding or free hitting in 26. And whichever one is remaining, set it up after 29, like Kern said, to have a run
yeah.
in. Then let's move on to differentials and won't take too much of anyone's time. If DCL is 100% injured, I mean 100% injured, Josh King at 5.52 seems to kind of solve a short-term problem very, very easily. Like I mentioned earlier, I think he has it in him. Positionally, you've seen him with Bournemouth. He can get in those goals. Richarlison seems to have hit a stride as well. Don't see why they can't link up. It's a double worth the punt if you're literally down to one striker.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was going to say my punt would have been a Burnley striker, uh, but uh, there's injury concerns there as well, right? I mean, Wood could not be available for this game, and as I said, just not exciting enough. So my punt is like it's boring. It's a keeper, Alphonse Areola, 3.5% owned, two fixtures, could potentially get save points if nothing else, and not that bad fixtures, right? Everton and Burnley. Everton without DCL may not score. Burnley generally do not score. So Alphonse Areola is my pick.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to our captain picks. Kara, I'll let you take this one because it's a fun conversation.
Raheem Sterling, dude. Raheem Sterling is my captain pick. He came off early as well, so he should be rested for the next 2 weeks. My vice captain's band is currently on Bruno Fernandes because if we are looking at single game week captain, then West Brom away game, West Brom are struggling to keep a clean sheet. Bruno Fernandes rested for large parts of the United game midweek as well. Uh, so Bruno Fernandes would be my alternate if for a single game week pick.
Right. For me, the captain pick was going to be Gundogan, which is why I got him in last week with the whole planning and everything. But if it's confirmed that Rodri is indeed not going to play, Fernandinho, they have no idea about. I will have to then look at. See, I don't think I'm going to get in Raheem Sterling in to make that move because I have concerns elsewhere. If on a worst case scenario, I have ended up getting in Harry Kane in for DCL, the DCL would be my backup captain option, like I said already. He would be my second captain pick. I'll have to do something that is a little weird. I will then, even though Gundogan is playing twice, I would still feel more comfortable captaining Fernandes versus West Brom than captaining Gundogan if he's going to be playing that deep, even though he's on penalties. That's where I'm at right now. It's Fernandes
Yeah,
becoming option one, DCL Gundogan coin toss option two, depending on fitness. And
interesting.
if things change for United over the next 2 days, no real injury concerns out there, hopefully, because like you said, Fernandes was rested. But let's see how that one goes. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining us for this episode. We will keep more updates as per the press conferences over the weekend. Do tune in for our next episode as well. We will try our best to give you a more informative approach on our social media feed to help you with those niggling midweek doubts. Don't forget to hit like on this video, and please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, it really helps us grow and shows us that you guys care and love us. And we will see you in the next one. We hope the injuries stay away before double game week 26.
best of luck, everyone. See you the next game week.